All right, what's up, you guys? So I've had so many requests to do like a meal prep tutorial, so that's what I'm gonna do. As far as meal prep, it really appeals to people that are, that have the typical jobs. I work with a lot of teachers, so as far as teachers goes, you have a pretty laid out schedule, so your breaks are pretty consistent, and everything else, and obviously you don't have time to cook, and you don't want to go out to eat all the time, so meal prepping can really come in handy. Having said that, meal prepping is something that I have done in the past and is something that takes a lot of work. You're going to get better every week. But if you do decide that you want to meal prep, just be sure that you give yourself enough time on Sunday to do that. So I'm not just talking like 30 minutes to an hour. It's going to take a lot longer to cook your food, to prepare it, to weigh it, to set it out in your containers and everything else. So, 3 to 4 hours is realistically probably, the amount of time that you need. And, that might sound like a lot initially. But it's really not, especially, during the week when you could just wake up and grab something and go. And, when you're at school, just put it in the microwave. It's a whole heck of a lot easier than having to stress out about what you're going to eat, the day before or whatever. So I'm just going to kind of go into detail on how I personally meal prepped in the past, what worked best for me. So I'll go ahead and I'll get started. So first thing you need to do is you need to determine basically what your calorie goal is, which I've already determined for you. So, obviously, we all have different numbers, but just in this case, I'm going to use like a 2,000 calorie meal plan. Okay, so what you're going to do is first determine how many meals you're going to eat in a given day. So, for myself, I usually eat about 5 meals a day. So that's what I did based on this meal plan. So I got 5 meals a day, and I'm basing it on a 2,000 calorie plan. So I need to get my 2,000 calories, and I also need to be hitting my protein goal. So what I went ahead and did was I went ahead and went into MyFitnessPal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on MyFitnessPal really quick. And I went ahead and logged everything. So this is kind of where it takes most of your preparation, I guess, is, writing out what you're going to eat. So what I did was I did 5 meals. I always have my breakfast, I have my lunch, and I have my dinner, and I had 2 snacks. Okay, and for my 2 snacks, I tried to make them as simple as possible. So I just did a couple protein bars. Okay, so obviously when it comes to meal prepping, the more convenient the food is, the less you have to cook, and I definitely keep that in mind with my snacks and everything else. So I'll go ahead and get started. So as far as breakfast goes, I picked eggs because eggs are really easy to cook, especially if you hard boil them. So you can see here that I have eggs, I have a cup of spinach, which is really easy to prepare. Most people eat it raw anyway. You could do peppers or anything like that. And wheat bread. So as far as wheat bread, that's literally just grabbing bread out of the, out of the bag, and just having it all done for you. That's a lot easier than oatmeal or anything like that. So that's pretty much my breakfast. I got my egg whites. That's going to be my protein. My egg yolks, that's going to be my fat. My spinach is going to be my vegetable, and my wheat bread is going to be my carbohydrates. So that's 330 calories. That's a smaller breakfast, but that's what I put down. Next is going to be lunch. So what I did was I picked a cup of sweet potatoes, so that's about 133 grams. My greens are just going to be fresh green beans, the steamable bags. This will be about 8 ounces. Chicken breast, about 8 ounces as well. And then for my fat, I chose to do a little bit of olive oil, a tablespoon of olive oil, and usually I'll put that on my greens, just to kind of give them a little kick, or you could use a small amount of butter, but I usually prefer you to use olive oil. So that's pretty much what my lunch looks like. So as far as dinner goes, 6 ounces of steak, pretty easy. Brown rice, I picked boil in a bag brown rice because basically all you do is you put it, and you get these boil in a bag, and they're already in like this plastic wrapping with a strainer in it and everything, and you just put it in the microwave, and it's already portioned out for you, so that makes it really, really easy. So I went ahead and did one of these, and that's 43 grams. If you decide to just do, regular brown rice, you could buy the regular brown rice and measure out 43 grams. And the mixed veggies, about 3/4 of a cup. That's going to be your peas, carrots, corn, stuff like that. So that's my dinner. And as far as snacks go, obviously my favorite protein bar in the world is Fit Crunch bars. So I chose a Fit Crunch bar. It's about 380 calories for a snack. and then a chocolate chip protein bar for my other snacks. So basically you can see here that I've got an entire day planned out, okay? This is what a typical day would look like for me if I were to be within the right amount of calories. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click nutrition, okay? So I'm going to click right here and this should pop up, okay? So this brings up, you know, calories. So I can see already, you know, my calories are where they need to be. So you can see here, you know, total calories are right around 2,000, okay? I'm just 14 calories short, so that's perfect. So next I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on macros, which tells me how much protein I have, carbs, fat, stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and click macros, and you can see that everything's pretty much on point. You know, I've got a lot of protein, I've got a lot of carbs, I've got enough fat. It's pretty balanced. You can see everything's about 35, you know, 30 to 35%, which is great. You're having a really, really balanced day, and that's really what I want. So it looks like this day's perfect. It looks like all the foods are exactly, you know, what I want you to eat. Okay, so you have pretty much a perfect day figured out. So basically now all you need to do is buy your groceries, you know, and know how much to buy and what to prepare and everything else. And that's where things start to get a little bit trickier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my screen where I had everything listed out that I needed. So what I'm going to do is I want to eat like this 7 days a week. Okay, so basically everything that's on my list, I just need to multiply by 7. Okay, so I'm actually going to flip my, I'm going to try to flip my camera around here and show you kind of what I'm looking at. Okay, so I'll go ahead and try to write this out for you. So it looks like, try to scroll a bit here. I have 2 eggs, okay? So 2 eggs and a cup of spinach, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and write down 2 eggs and then 1 cup spinach. I'll just abbreviate it, okay? And next I'm going to have 2 slices of bread. So 2 slices whole grain bread. Okay, so that's my breakfast. Now, as far as lunch, I have a cup of sweet potatoes. I'm just going to go by grams. So I'll say 133 grams of sweet potatoes. So 133 grams sweet potatoes. And obviously, these change to ounces and everything else. So, you know, if you needed to know how many ounces it was, you could always change this measurement to make it a little bit easier to buy. For fresh green beans, I have 8 ounces. So I'll put 8 ounces green beans. Sorry, my camera is getting a little bit off here. And chicken breast, I have 8 ounces of chicken breast. So I'll just put chicken, I'll know what that means. Tablespoon of olive oil, so I'll put tablespoon olive oil. And then I've got my dinner, so I have 6 ounces of steak. I picked a sirloin because that's going to be kind of counted as my fat as well. And then brown rice, so I got 43 grams, which is actually a cup cooked. So cooked is going to be the same amount as half of a cup uncooked. Okay, so I'm going to put 1/2 cup uncooked, and then I'll put brown rice. Okay, and then mixed veggies, I have 3/4 of a cup, so mixed veggies. And then I'll just put in parentheses like 3/4 cup. Okay, this should be pretty simple to figure out. Okay, and then snacks, obviously I have 1 Fit Crunch and then 1 pure protein bar. So it really is going to be this simple. You know, this is my day. This is everything that I'm going to eat in a day. So if I want it for 7 days, obviously you got to multiply everything by 7. Okay, multiply everything by 7. So that means 2 eggs times 7 is going to be 14 eggs. So I know I need to buy just a little bit over a dozen eggs. A cup of spinach, you know, I need 7 cups of spinach. So 7 cups of spinach, obviously. 2 slices of bread times 7, that's 14 pieces of bread. 133 grams of sweet potatoes. Usually you could just buy giant bags. Just buy a huge bag because you'll know you'll have enough. Okay, so buy 1 big bag of sweet potatoes, 8 ounces of green beans multiplied by 7. That's 56 ounces, okay, of green beans. Now to turn all those ounces into pounds, you just pretty much divide in 16, okay? So 16, 32, 48. So that's, 48 ounces is going to be 3 pounds, okay? So that's going to be about 3.5 pounds of green beans, okay? And you can see that on the bag. It'll have it written so you'll know how much to buy. They usually sell big bags of these anyway. So, when in doubt, just buy the biggest bag they have so you'll know you'll have enough. Chicken, 8 ounces times 7 days of chicken is still going to be 56 ounces. So you need to buy 3.5 pounds of chicken to make it through the week. 1 tablespoon of olive oil, obviously, 7 tablespoons of olive oil, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you could see that, I could do all these. I'm almost done, but you get the point. Multiply by 7. You're going to have everything ready to go. You'll have enough stuff to get yourself through the week. Okay, so you go to the store, you buy all this stuff, and you bring it home. Okay, now you actually have to cook the stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this back over, and I'll tell you kind of how everything works in those regards. So let me cap my Sharpie really quick. So as far as cooking everything goes, I might actually go to my little digital you're going to have a digital scale to actually meal prep properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring myself over to my kitchen and show you my digital scale and kind of how I've done things in the past. So what you're going to do here is first you're going to kind of look at your day, and it's going to be like pretty much, let's make sure I'm still recording here. Good. Okay, pretty much you're just going to cook everything, in bulk. Okay, so as far as your eggs go, you're going to boil 14 eggs. Okay, that's pretty simple. Your spinach is already going to be prepared. You won't have to prepare any bread. All you're going to have to do is grab and go. Now for the sweet potatoes, you could just really roast these in the oven. So we saw on our list that we needed a big bag of sweet potatoes. So we had 133 grams of sweet potatoes. So we're going to multiply 133 grams by 7, whatever in the heck that is. Okay, let's just say, I know this isn't right, but let's just say we needed 1,000 grams of sweet potatoes. This is pretty much how you are going to do that. So you're going to get your digital scale, which I have here, and we're going to weigh our sweet potatoes uncooked. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to grab a big bowl. So I'll go ahead and grab a huge bowl here. Okay, so I got a huge bowl here. I'm going to lay this bowl on my scale before I turn it on. Then I'm going to turn it on, okay? That way your scale's zeroed out, okay? And you could set it to grams, okay? Obviously, you have milliliters, ounces, pounds and ounces, fluid ounces, grams. Okay, so I'm back to grams. I'm going to turn it off, turn it back on again. I'm going to zero it out. So then I'll start cutting up my sweet potatoes, and the grams will start adding up. So I don't have any sweet potatoes on me right now, so I'll just start putting random stuff in here. So, I'll put this tape in here, and this, and some sunglasses, whatever, okay? And you can see that these grams start to add up. So as soon as we get to 1,000 grams, we are gonna stop, okay? Because we know we have enough sweet potatoes. So once you get all your sweet potatoes in there, we'll turn this scale off. We'll slice all those up, okay? And we'll cook your sweet potatoes. So usually when you're cooking sweet potatoes, you just slice them up, put them in the oven. So we'll go ahead and pop those in the oven, cook all those at once, and let those cook, okay? Same thing is gonna go with just about everything else, okay? So we decided, we needed all these green beans. So, you're gonna measure out 56 ounces of green beans and cook those. You're gonna measure out 56 ounces of chicken. You're gonna weigh this raw, okay? Keep that in mind, weigh your meat raw. And you're going to cook all that. You're going to cook your steak, you're going to cook your rice, you're going to cook your veggies, okay? You're going to cook all that stuff, and basically what you're going to come out with is you're going to have pretty much a huge counter full of cooked foods, okay? So, you're going to have brown rice and vegetables and chicken and everything else, okay? And next what you're going to have to do is you're actually going to have to divide this out into meals. Okay, so what I usually do is I've got all this chicken. I got my baking pans full of chicken, and obviously now that you've cooked that chicken, the weight is going to be different than when you weighed it raw. You know, it's gonna weigh less because you're gonna have some water cooked out or whatever. So I'll shred my chicken, and what I'll do is I will put my bowl back on my scale, turn my scale on, and it's going to be at 0, okay? And I always keep it in grams because that's going to keep things as accurate as possible. So I'm going to start putting my cooked chicken in this bowl. So I start putting everything back in my bowl one at a time. And it looks like now my chicken only weighs 457 grams, okay? So I've got 457 grams of chicken, and I need to divide that into 7. So what I'll do is I'll just take 457 grams of chicken and divide that by 7. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a number. And I'll go ahead and do the math really quick. I haven't done this kind of math in a long time. 7, 14, 20, 20. Oh gosh, it's been too long. 42. Okay, so 6, 42, 3, 37, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 5. So 35, 2. Okay, so just over 65. Okay, so we're going to have about 65 grams of cooked chicken in each container. So what I'm going to do now is see how much Tupperware contain. You could tell I used to meal prep. So I got all these containers here, and I'll go ahead and get all these out. Okay, I got all my containers out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my chicken bowl with all my chicken over there to the side, and I'm going to put my container here. I'm going to zero out my scale, and I'm going to put stuff in here until it's 65 grams, okay? So I'm going to start putting in my chicken, and then once it reaches 65 grams or a little bit over, you know, I can start taking stuff out and putting a little bit more chicken in. And then once I reach 65 grams, I know, okay, I got the perfect amount of chicken there. Set that one out, and then you just repeat, okay? So we go ahead and zero that out, turn it back on, 65 grams, and repeat, okay? So you'll go ahead and you'll have all your chicken placed in those tubs. Now the same thing is going to work with everything else as well, okay? So, you know, obviously you'll have your eggs done. This will be easy, the spinach, the bread. You'll have your chicken done. Go ahead and do the vegetables the same way. So, you know, put your empty bowl back on the scale, zero it out, put all of your cooked green beans in there, divide by 7, and then start portioning it out into your meals. Now, I know this is like really expansive, and meal prepping's hard, but it's one of those things that, you know, you'll definitely get the hang of once you do it enough. The first week might be a little bit rough. It might take you a little bit longer, but once you get the routine of actually cooking everything, you know, have your sweet potatoes cooking while you're cooking your chicken and while you're cooking your vegetables, it becomes a lot easier. And then once you start weighing stuff out with your digital scale, it just becomes routine. So if you are a person that wants to meal prep, this is how I've done it in the past. This is the easiest way for me to do it, the easiest way for me to explain it. If you guys do have any other questions about how to meal prep, ask me. But in my opinion, pick stuff that you like, but pick stuff that's going to be convenient as well. So the protein bars and the bread and the eggs and stuff like that. You know, if you're picking convenient foods, that's less time that you actually have to prep by cooking and everything else. Now, yeah, this might cost you a little bit more money, but honestly, time is money. So, you know, if you could save yourself 3 or 4 hours in a day just by buying convenient stuff, that's going to help you out a lot, okay? So if you guys do have any questions about this, just holler at me. I'd love to help you meal prep. Hopefully I get some like legitimate videos of me actually meal prepping, just to kind of take you through the ropes, kind of step by step. So again, thanks for watching, and I hope this definitely helped you guys out.